Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 94 and today we are starting things off at Stress Monster's chicken adoption area. As you guys know, in the previous episode of Hermitcraft, we made ourselves a little environment for little Fedora up there. And I gotta say, I think it's looking rather lovely. We've got our Oasis biome, we've got Oasis the band, we've even got a Wonderwall over there, and there is little Fedora still going strong. And down at the bottom here, we've got the lunchbox, and then we've got the litter tray. And the lunchbox is where I meant to put the diamond block for me to get ice. And I mean, I don't know how it happened, but for some reason, I didn't put a diamond block in. I decided to put in 8 diamonds. I don't know what was going through my head at the time. Everyone mentioned it down in the comment section, but by the look of things, my chicken has still pooped. I've also got a book from Stress saying, Mumbo, you plonker. Dear Mumbo, for some reason Fedora was only fed 8 diamonds, which as you may know, or not, as the case may be, a block is 9 diamonds. Fedora seems to be very happy with Oasis and with the company of the band. She even sang me a little tune from the band. So on this occasion, Fedora has pooped. You're welcome, she says. That's fantastic news. I can't believe I did that. I've shortchanged Fedora. I'm so sorry. Anyway, before we head back over to the base, there's a little bit of business that I need to attend to, and that is... yep. Just... chucking out my ice. I think that's all of it because, yeah, nobody cares about ice. I tell you what, nothing fills me with more nerves than using a freshly built storage system properly for one of the first times. I've been double checking that things aren't being lost all over the place, but it does all seem to be working properly. Anyway, storage systems aside, my goal for today's Hermitcraft episode is to do some work on the Sahara system. What we need to do is we need to transport the items that have been bought by the player actually over to the player. Now this is a big deal. This is something that, well, this is, I mean, it's not quite going to finish up the system, but this is a big part of it. So we need to make sure that we absolutely nail it, and I need to re-familiarize myself with how this system works because it's been a little while since I've been here. Okay, after doing that for a little while, the first thing that we need to do is we actually need to set up the water streams which are going to be moving the items. So that is going to involve a lot of glass and a lot of ice. It's going to involve quite a lot of ice. I kind of regret throwing out the ice that I got. So here it is. This is the water stream, which runs right the way across the storage system, or the whatever this place is called, the warehouse. So that is going to be transporting the items here, but there are 3 more of them that we need to do, and then we need to connect them up and run them into one central location, which I don't actually know where that's going to be. Well, I guess now it's time to work that out, because we have got all of the water streams running across in all of the directions. Now, one thing that I did actually have to do with these water streams is I needed to make sure that the shulker box doesn't fall out somehow. So all of these droppers are also encased in glass as well, so the shulker box will fall out like this, land in the water, and then travel across into this area here. And I'm thinking... I mean, I'm not certain, but I'm thinking that we... I mean, we have space... We don't really have space here. Unless you do it in this corner, we have... Oh, yeah, we have loads more room over in this area here. So maybe this could be the loading space. Maybe we have some item elevators. Then we have the stock up of all the minecarts. And then this is where the tube is actually going to leave the building and go off to the shop. I just needed to re-familiarize myself with the actual system itself. So we have the minecarts here, the minecarts run down, the minecarts end up in this storage system here, our items end up in this storage system here. So all of our items are stored separately. When the player asks to deliver a minecart, it will then fall down there. That powered rail will be unpowered until all of the shulker boxes that are currently in the temporary storage have ended up in the minecart itself. When the minecart is then filled up with the shulker boxes, it will be sent down the minecart track and to the player. And then we have to worry about all this stuff that we need to build in the shop itself. Okay, so that all makes sense, and I've just started work on producing this thing. So this is where the shulker boxes go. This is our minecarts. Our minecart tower is going to be going right here, which is going to look absolutely awesome in this warehouse. And then we have this little powered minecart rail, which is going to shoot our minecarts out. Now, I kind of hoped that we could go through the floor. I mean, we probably can. So if we had the minecart track, then go out and down out through here, and then drop down into some kind of chamber, because I wouldn't mind it coming out of that wall. Give me a second. So if our minecart rail came out here, goes along in a tube across like this, then it goes probably around the back of the architect's logo, because I think that will look cool, then continue on like this and then go through that back wall there. I think that's, yeah, that's probably the way to do it. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to do things. I really can't wait for when we update to Minecraft 1.14 on Hermitcraft. It's such a shame that it's a little bit on the buggy side, because the TNT exploding thing, I can't wait to create the Sahara Mega Farm. Anyway, I thought it would be smart to actually build up our tunnel and do a pretty design for it before we start work on all the fancy redstone stuff. And as I mentioned earlier on, it's kind of going to come out like this, do some winding around, and go in the back there. I'm just hoping that it fits, and I also hope that I can do a design that's pretty enough that Grian doesn't beat me up for. And this is it so far. Not exactly going to be winning any awards for this one, but I'm hoping that adding the bands around the outside should improve things. So every 3 blocks, in fact I've already built that wrong, that is not a good start. Every 3 blocks we are going to have a kind of white concrete band that wraps around this thing, and that is going to go all the way across and around. Kind of a little bit like this. I had not even noticed this here, but I guess subconsciously that has gone straight into my brain. Well, I mean, it's going to be like a slightly more sharp version of that, basically. This is looking really quite cool already. I'm loving the way that this is coming across. I will send a message to Grian asking him to pretty things up a little bit, but I think it suits the style pretty nicely already. And that is like a very, very half-finished, very, very, very rough. Most of it is just a template. But I think it's going to end up looking super cool. With that being said, it is definitely eating some resources. I mean, I don't know how many resources we've actually used for Sahara. I have a feeling that this entire store might end up making a loss, because I think how much has gone into this. These should be the final few blocks for the exterior of our tunnel. So that is now all fully built up. And as far as I can tell, that should be everything. So let's fly out and let's take a look at this thing from above. And I'm kind of excited to see. Now, I haven't gone right the way up to the building just yet, because we don't quite know where we're exactly going to be going in. It's a little bit more busy than I was expecting it to be. Yeah, that's not quite what we wanted. That's not quite what I wanted. That's not quite how I envisioned it to be. I don't know what to say about that one. No, that's not right, is it? I think potentially I went a little bit too big with the first tunnel, so I think that this could actually be the way to go. Something just a tiny bit simpler, a little bit like this, that is going to carry our minecart along. The player will be able to see the minecart very clearly, which is important for us, because we want the player to be able to tell that the items are being delivered from the warehouse. So something like this, I think that does the trick. As you can quite clearly tell, I am not a builder. I'm seriously not a builder. It's funny because people always tell me, you know, that I'm good at building, and they say that they like the stuff that I do, and that's fine. It's because I spend a lot of time trying to work it out, but it just does not come naturally to me in the slightest. It probably took me more time to build up and design this tunnel than it did for me to build up and design the actual redstone element, which is far more complicated and confusing. You know what? I've removed the top and it looks a tiny bit better. It's definitely not the finished article in the slightest. We're not going to be sticking with this design, but it's not like horrendously ugly anymore. It's just mildly ugly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on getting this thing working. I actually want to get it functioning. I'm going to do all of the technical bits and pieces, and then we can worry about making it pretty a little bit later. Nice! Impulse SV's gold shop is finally restocked, so I don't have to keep stealing it from underneath the gold farm. Although, you know, it is quite nice not having to pay that many diamonds. And just to make it clear, when I said steal, I meant AFK at the gold farm to get the gold, before you guys go crazy at me down in the comment section. So we now have an actual minecart line. We have got powered rails going all the way across into the back of the store here. The only thing that I'm wondering is, where do we actually want the delivery system to be? Where do we want the items to come through? It doesn't seem to make much sense anywhere here. I guess we could have it on this side if the bookshelves weren't there, but I don't want to take those out just yet. Or we could have it on the second floor. I think it would probably be smart to run these ideas through Iskall and Grian before I actually make changes. So I think what I'm going to do is go AFK overnight at the witch farm. Try my best to gather up some resources and things, replenish my redstone supplies a tiny bit, and then I'll catch you guys in the morning. And here we are, and hopefully... I mean, I don't know. They might have been generated by the witch farm. They look fresh to me. Yeah, there's a chance that those ones are new ones. I hadn't realised all this junk was on here. By the way, we have got tons upon tons of glowstone dust. That goes right the way up to the top. And we also have tons upon tons of gunpowder, so we don't even need the gunpowder farm anymore. Back over at Sahara now, I've spoken with Grian and Iskall, and they say that we can build it right about here. So this is going to be where the deliveries come through. I've already cleared out a little space. We're going to need a little bit more, and obviously there's tons of redstone that goes into this spot. I have also just thought that we need a second minecart line that goes back into the warehouse that takes the empty minecart chest back. I feel like I've said this a lot during this Hermitcraft season, but I feel like it needs saying again, because I seem to spend tons of my time in Minecraft these days clearing out my inventory. Okay, it's worse than ever to a certain extent, because with Minecraft 1.13 there was a bunch of new items introduced into the game, and then with Minecraft 1.14 come in, there's even more items being introduced into the game, and this inventory, okay, this inventory system that we've got was made when there was like 10 items that you could get in Minecraft. Now, shulker boxes, they did help. I mean, they obviously kind of helped out the situation a little bit, but I do think that maybe for Minecraft 1.15, the inventory and inventory management systems need to be looked into a little bit more. Just because, I mean, it's getting tricky to stay on top of things. I mean, can you imagine how cool it would be if we could open up shulker boxes inside inventories? So I could, I don't know, like control click on this or something, and then it opens up to this side, and then we can swap blocks between. Whew, that would be... Whew. I hate how disorganized this storage system is. Where did I put my detector rails? I know I had a ton of them. I put them in this mess some time ago, and I don't think I'll ever get them out again. Anyway, inventory organizational bits aside, we are making really good progress here. I would say we're around about the 40% mark. It's been so long since I've actually designed this thing that it is... it's difficult to build because I'm so unfamiliar with what anything does. I really am. It's totally lost on me. I'm kind of placing it block by block right now without really thinking about what the redstone circuit actually is, which is quite a dangerous way to build redstone contraptions because you don't notice bugs as you're constructing them. And now I think we're about to find them, because this thing is all fully constructed and should hopefully, fingers crossed, very, very crossed, be working. It's not actually the most complicated thing in the world. All it does is it takes the minecart that comes in, detects the minecart then drops down onto these, at the time, unpowered rails, will unload all of the shulker boxes that it has into that hopper and dispenser combination. The dispenser will automatically dispense out the shulker boxes so that the player can clear out all of the items from the shulker boxes. Once that's all finished, our minecart will have dropped down to here. It will begin loading in all of the empty shulker boxes, and once all of the empty shulker boxes are in the minecart chest, it will make its way back to the Sahara warehouse. That made it sound far more complicated than it actually is. So instead of me just waffling on, let's actually give it a tester. So, minecart rolls in. Minecart lands. And minecart moves off. Okay, that was fast. I don't remember it being that fast. Good. So if I just clear out my inventory here and then make way for all of the items on the inside of the shulker box. That's cleared. We get the next shulker box. We empty that out. So this is the process of me buying all of the items from the shop. So I'm now picking up all the items that I've bought and moving them into my own inventory. And let's just put those in there. And let's clear out all of these ones. Okay. So all seems to be working pretty well so far. So if I now clear this one out, this should be the final shulker box. That does that, and then the empty shulker boxes move off. It's worked. That worked first time. That never happens. Obviously, that is extremely exciting. So now what we have to do is we need to connect up my ugly minecart line that we created into the back of this redstone circuit. So we're going to run it in through this wall, which I think we should go one block further along just to centralize it. And then that will drop through into the floor, down into the redstone system, and that will connect up the warehouse to the redstone. And there we go. That is everything. So it drops down there, then drops through here, then goes up through like this, and we all saw what happens next. Okay, everything should now be working. We just have to work out what to do with this output line. Do we have a separate minecart rail? Or do we do something completely different? Here are my thoughts, okay? For a little while, I was thinking up designs of how we could send the minecart back on the same rail. Just to keep things efficient, have one minecart rail. I think that would be cool. I thought of the redstone how to do it, but then I thought to myself, if the player wants to do another order, the two minecarts could crash into one another, and that's going to cause massive problems. That's going to be really frustrating. So then I thought, okay, we can have another above ground minecart rail. But that's not perfect, so I think the solution is to go underneath the ground. Now I just need to make sure that we don't crash into anything. So I've gone all the way underneath the ground, and now my little minecart rail is kind of popping out inside the Sahara headquarters or the Sahara warehouse. And I think the way that we're going to do it is, yes, we'll have a left turn here, and then it will go along here for a little bit. It's going to be kind of a very rough track. And then I think if we pop up somewhere around about here, where does that bring us through to? Because a second ago I was popping out in the meeting room, and that's no good. But now I'm popping out kind of in the perfect spot, actually. Yeah, so we're going to shoot out around about here. And then do something. I mean, we need to work out the redstone for this section, which actually we're going to make some pretty big changes to that. So you might have to go and develop it. Okay, here we are. Here we are. So this is where our empty minecart will end up. And now we need to resort the shulker boxes, which, as I say, needs some development. So let's pop through into the redstone world. So with the current design, we just have a really long line of hoppers running around that will snake through the entire system. That's going to be insanely expensive. By the way, if I sound funny, I've had to plug up my nose because I've got a bit of a nosebleed right now. That's how committed I am to still making these Minecraft videos, okay? I'm still recording. So what I propose we do is we remove all of this. We leave that hop. I mean, might not even need to leave that hopper, because I think we could probably get away with having a minecart rail running around that does exactly the same thing, because all this hopper line does is it just redistributes all of the shulker boxes back into the correct sections, and I think we can do that perfectly fine with just a minecart rail. So here's how this new, slightly more intelligent system will work. Our little minecart chest with its empty shulker boxes will run out from that circuit that we've just built on the Hermitcraft server. It will run up into some form of unloading facility where it will unload all of the empty shulker boxes into this hopper minecart right here, and then it will continue on its line into the minecart chest storage facility. The reason that we're not keeping the minecart chest in this system and having it unload its empty shulker boxes itself is because it will take too long, and we need to make sure that we keep them stored up. So all of those empty shulker boxes are now in this minecart hopper, and if we nudge them along, they should make their way into all of the hoppers. So that should now be empty because I cleared out one spot of every single one, and it looks like it is. So now all of these hoppers should be filled in, and that is way faster than the previous design, and also uses far fewer hoppers, and also means that now we only need 14 shulker boxes per module, which is a lot less than the something like 25 that we needed beforehand. Now, to stop this minecart from running around at all times, we're going to have a little detector rail with a comparator running out of it, and if it detects that this hopper minecart is empty, then it will stop it at the loading station so that it doesn't just keep running around, because there's a high chance that it will disappear, because minecart entities are a little bit strange. This is good. This is really, really good. So I guess we will start work on that in the next episode of Hermitcraft. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I've got time for today. I really do hope that you've enjoyed this Hermitcraft episode. If you have, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.